Johnstown as a 20-year-old playing in Johnstown and playing in that kind of league that it was, and making the 20-hour bus rides up to St. George, Quebec, and up to Lewis and Maine and around. You had to love it. You had to love it. But you had to really make your way. And when you had the opportunity, my goal was to play in the National Hockey League, or back then you had the competing league called the World Hockey Association, the WHA, which is kind of similar to the AFL and the NFL back when those two leagues were going on, or the NBA, the NBA, ABA back then. Well, I finally had my big break. I got called up to play in the WHA for the Birmingham Bulls. And we were playing against the Winnipeg Jets. And Bobby Hull played for the Winnipeg Jets. And they had just an incredible hockey team. They were really the first team that had the influx of European players. And the European players, when they came over, could just fly. I mean, it was incredible how fast they fly. And Bobby Hull was on this line with Ulf Hedberg and Ulf Nielsen and Anders Hedberg, the flying Swedes. Now, Bobby Hull was called the Golden Jet when he played for the Chicago Blackhawks because he also could really skate. And when he skated, of course, he didn't wear helmets back then, and he had the blonde hair, and the blonde hair would flow, i.e. the Golden Jet, and just shoot up and down the ice. When he jumped to the World Hockey Association, the World Hockey Association saw him as such as a marquee hockey player. He was the first $1 million hockey player ever to play hockey. And the one team didn't pay for him. The Winnipeg Jets didn't pay for him. Every team in the league chipped in and come up with $1 million to get him to play in the league. It's that important to start the league. So when Bobby Hull left the Chicago Blackhawks and jumped to the World Hockey Association, played for the Winnipeg Jets, well, the Golden Locks that he got the Golden Jet nickname from kind of had disappeared. He was close to being bald by the time he jumped league. But when he signed that $1 million contract and was playing with the Winnipeg Jets, he suddenly had a full head of hair. So I'm playing for the Birmingham Bulls. We're going to play the Winnipeg Jets, and I have to make an impression. Of course, my impression is I'm going to make sure that when I get on the ice, the coach is going to always want me on the ice because my first shift is going to be so incredible that there's no way he's not going to want to put me out there again. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to do that by when I get the opportunity to knock Bobby Hull right on his can. Bobby Hull stood about 5'10", probably weighed about 215 pounds, was just built like a brick outhouse. He was a farmer, grew up on a farm. He was just a huge guy, could skate. So I'm going after Bobby Hull. So the opportunity, game's going on, the opportunity, I'm playing defense, Bobby's coming down on my side, I step up into Bobby, I hit him as hard as I can, and I wake up, I'm looking at the ceiling. Geez, you got one of those retractable roofs, look at all the stars. As I hear the buzzer going off, because Bobby just went in and scored a goal. So I gathered myself, went back to the bench, kind of like a puppy with his tail between his legs. But I said, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm a competitive son of a gun. I'm passionate. We're going to go at this again. So the opportunity later in the game finally comes up. Coach puts me back out there. And here comes Bobby again. This time I stepped in with everything I had and probably a couple elbows that he didn't like. My elbows got up, his gloves went down, my gloves went down. I said, then we're going. I'm throwing rights and he's throwing rights. We switch hands. I'm throwing lefts, he's throwing lefts. We're throwing uppercuts, and then all of a sudden, it's like time stood still. The crowd that was just screaming and yelling you could have heard a pin drop. And I look at Bobby, Bobby's looking at me, and I'm looking at Bobby, and I'm thinking, Bob, you don't look the same. Oh! I got this rug in my hand. Oh, jeez, I throw that rug out in the middle of the ice. Well,
okay, Sean.
I get 2 minutes for elbowing, 2 minutes for roughing, 5 minutes for fighting, a 10-minute gross misconduct, and back then the rule was if you pulled someone's hair, you got a game misconduct and you got thrown out of the game. But Bill Friday was a referee, and he says, the only reason I'm not throwing you out of the game is because that's not real hair. a couple more goals. Later on, the last shift I had in that game, I'm lined up across from at the face-off, and I'm going, Mr. Hall? Mr. Hall, I'm really sorry. Kid, don't worry about it. I need a new piece anyhow. Him and I are actually, you know, it's funny because, oh gosh, that probably happened I wouldn't say, probably 1978, 79, something like that. And him and I have become very good friends since then, and never once has he ever mentioned it to me. And I had never mentioned it back to him. Although his brother Dennis saw one time, and the first thing he says is,